Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to the May edition of our Catch Up with Keeper webinar series. Thank you all so much for making the time. All right, while we are waiting for people to join us, I would love if anyone could pop in the chat and let us know where they're calling in from. All right, we're going to give everyone a couple of minutes to join us here, and then we will go ahead and dive on in. Always love to see how many different states and provinces are represented. To the Americans in the room, I hope you all had a relaxing Memorial Day weekend and you're not coming back to work too far behind on things. And continents, that's right, Yelena, thank you. All right. And with that, we are going to go ahead and get things started. So once again, thank you all so much for taking the time to join us for this Catch Up with Keeper webinar series. In this webinar, we will go over all of the latest and greatest updates to Keeper over the course of the last month, and then we will also open things up to some Q&A. In case you have to duck out, or if you're watching this later, these calls are all recorded. They'll be posted on our YouTube channel later today so that you can watch them back at any time. If this is your first ever time joining us, one thing I will ask is that for the Q&A section, go ahead and make sure you pop those questions into the Q&A button down below, as opposed to in the chat. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we'll dive on in. All right. So we've got a bunch of new exciting updates here today. So I am going to start with the one that I am probably most excited about, which is in our time tracking, and that is our new what we call capacity planning. You might call it time budgets, but it's essentially our way of getting more value out of the time tracker data that's already in Keeper. All right, so let me actually start with how you set this up, and then I'll segue into how it works. So in your settings tab right here, you have the ability to set, we've always had this rates per month, but we now added a budgeted hours per month column here as well. So here you can go in and go down your list of clients and say how many hours you expect to work on that client for in a given month. You can also do the same with your employees. If you have staff that works part-time, you can add an expected number of hours per month here as well. Once you've done that, you can now take full advantage of our capacity planning tools, which you can access here from this tab. And here you can see there are two options. There's client capacity and staff capacity. On the client capacity, I'm going to actually switch this over to year to date. On the client capacity here, you can see if we go ahead and we'll just look at one, you can see how many hours you've worked on a month-to-month basis across all of your clients. What you'll also see here is we highlight any clients where you're under the budget in green and over the budget in red. So you can easily see at a glance what are the months where you're over or under budget. If you want to drill down further, you also have a few options for that as well. You can click this arrow over here on the left, and this will segment your hours by work stream. So we can see in January, we had some special projects, and that took up a bunch of time. And then the month end close itself typically takes between 4 and 5 hours. You can also drill down further. So if we wanted to drill down into what those special projects were in March, you can just click the cell here and see what it was that took up that extra time. From here, this works. This will actually show all of those timers. And this is a great tool if you want to drill down further and see if maybe you need to make some corrective action with training, or you need to rescope something, or you need to bill separately itemized work. In addition to breaking down your work by work stream, you can also break it down by employee. So if you have multiple different employees working on a particular client, you can see who worked on what and how their time allocated towards the total. Last but not least, I'll mention a couple other things here. You can also turn on current month-to-date hours. So right now we're in May. Of course, we're at May 28th, like most of the May work is done. But you can also see this here as well if you want to get a sort of leading indicator of how much work you're doing on each client. And if you don't want to see that, you can come here to these settings and turn off that setting. And then that will just show the fully completed months for analytics purposes. Last but not least, you've got your employees here as well. And here you can see the same thing, except graphed by your employees. And then in your drill downs, you can see totals by client or by work stream. So instead of, so basically everything's just flipped here. One last thing you can do is, this is by default going to show all of your employees, but you can further filter this down for just your active employees. So anytime you delete a client from your practice settings, or sorry, delete a user from your practice settings here, that user's time is preserved in time tracking, but they are marked inactive. So if you just want to see your active team's time, you can check this box here, and then that will filter things accordingly. All right, so that's capacity planning. Super excited about this. Also very excited to get your feedback so that we can continue to improve this tool and make it something that helps you run your firm more effectively and more efficiently. All right, and with that, I am going to transition over to the next update, which is our our bulk email blasts improvements. So for those of you who don't know what bulk email blast is, it's understandable. It's a little buried in a setting here. But to get to it, you go to your practice settings, client portal, all contacts, and then there's this send email blast button. What this does is it lets you send a bulk email to any or all of your contacts that are here in Keeper. So for example, if you added like 100 clients and 100 contacts and you wanted to send one email to let them know about their new portal, the bulk email blast is a good tool to do that. Or for example, if you have tax returns for certain clients or other work that only applies to some subset, bulk email blasts are a great tool for that too. The functionality here got a huge facelift, a big improvement. One of the biggest changes is the way we actually send these emails. So previously, they were all essentially like one BCC'd email. It was a little janky, for lack of better words. Basically, everyone would go in the BCC field, and then just no one would be in the to field. And that's how the old email blasts work. This email blast is going to work more like MailChimp, where essentially it sends one single email to every single one of your clients. Also works the same way reminder emails work, essentially. And other than that, you have access to all of your templates here. You can create new custom templates right from here. So super easy to customize what you want to build out and then send it. And then one last really cool new improvement is the way that we have given you the ability to choose who gets this email. So you select your contacts by clicking here, and then you'll notice it opens up essentially a client selector. And the reason it does this is it lets you choose to filter and sort based on client properties. So for example, if you are sending a tax-related update, you can come here, find the income tax property, select this as yes, and then that's only going to show the clients for whom you do income tax. At that point, we can then bulk select over here on the left, and that's going to select every contact that is associated with any of these clients. If we didn't want to do that, we only wanted to send it to certain users, for example, we can click in here and then uncheck or check any of these accordingly. So if we only wanted to send this to, let's say, Ben here, we could uncheck all of the other options. And then what you'll notice is this will also uncheck them in other clients too. So here, Lele exists both in Democo and in MFL. And so if you check that, it's going to check it in both options. Basically, that way you're only sending, if you say, I don't want to send this to Lele, you only have to check it in one place. You don't need to check it for all of their related clients. And then you just click select contacts here and then send or schedule send that email. Okay. Next, we're going to go back onto the client list. And I'm going to show something that's actually not in my practice, but it may be in some of yours. So if you have seen a banner that looks like this, essentially what we did is we upgraded our email sending infrastructure to improve its reliability, to upgrade a lot of future functionality that will be coming down the road. If you have a Gmail account, this upgrade process is seamless, all happens under the hood. If you have a Microsoft or another type of email account, you're going to get this warning here. Your emails will still send fine. So if you get this, you don't need to immediately act on it, but you do need to act on it before July 1st. So it's about a month away. And basically, what we need you to do here is just re-authenticate your practice email. Worth noting, this is your practice email, not your user email. So it's just the email that's used to send emails through Keeper. So if you see this, just click re-authenticate, and then in a month from now, you won't have to worry about this. And if you have any questions, also feel free to pop down into our chat. We're happy to walk you through this on a one-on-one basis. Okay, so back into Keeper here. One more exciting new update on the client list is you can now see do later tasks from your non-closing tasks. So here, if we click one open, we can see with Democo, we've got 3 non-closing tasks in general. And we can see we've got 3 in due soon. So that's what the 3 here comes from. And we also have 1 that's due later. And that's not due until October, for example. So now you can see the status. And speaking of due soon, due later, right now, the default for this is is with the task being due within 7 days. But if you want, you can actually change that at the practice level. You just go to your practice settings, tasks, and then we have section manager. And then we have the option here to set that window. So it will show any tasks due within 14 days or due within the next 30 days. All right. Now with that, we will go on to the close page. Okay. Starting here at the very top left of our screen, we added this little caret. And in case you haven't seen this, so the home button will take you back to the client list. This caret here, if you click it, will allow you to choose where you want to go next. So for example, if you want to go to the client list, you can, of course, just click that from here. If you want to go straight to your task list, now you don't have to go back to the client list and then on to the task list. You can just click this here and then go straight to your task list. One more thing that this is going to unlock here as I go back to my client is you can now also see your templates and edit your templates right here from this caret. So you just click templates and that's going to pop open all of your templates right here on the close page. All right. Next thing to talk about is a workflow related feature. We added the ability to cancel a task. So for example, let's say we've got this, make sure all transactions in the bank feed are coded. And for some reason, we didn't get to it. We're not going to get to it, but we don't want it to perpetually show up as overdue. And we don't want to mark it as done if we didn't actually do it. Well, we're in luck here because now what we can do is you can click this not started and then choose the canceled option. What you'll see that does is it changes the status to canceled. It will still timestamp that so you can see who marked it as canceled and when they marked it as canceled. And instead of seeing a green check mark, you're going to see a gray X right here as well. You can customize so we call it canceled by default, but you can change that in your task settings. If you go to your task status options, you have one that's called done and then one that's called canceled. This is editable, what you change that task status name to be. All right. Next, we're going to go on to the Prepared 99s report for a couple of fun updates there. First is, and this is a QuickBooks only feature because Xero doesn't have the distinction between a vendor name and a legal name, But in QuickBooks, you have a display name, which is what we pull for the vendor name. And then you have a legal name that is saved to that vendor record as well. So for example, if we've got BB&B LLC as their display name, but they have some other name that needs to go on their 1099. So maybe it's just like John Smith, who is the owner of BB&B LLC, and it's a disregarded entity. We can actually change the legal name here. So we can call this John Smith. Save that. And then the legal name that will get exported in the 1099 will show up as John Smith. And then also this will export, or this will save back to QuickBooks as well. One more thing I'll note here is in the W-9 requests that you send to your vendors, you can now choose who you want to CC when you CC them in an email. So you'll get all your contacts here, and then you can just exclude anyone that you actually don't want to be on that email, so that you're not just, if you have lots of contacts, you can just choose who exactly you want to be on CC. All right. And last but not least, I'm going to show something that affects, this is in client properties, so this affects a few different places, but I'll show it here. And that is you can now reorder the picker values in a dropdown. So right now we go silver, gold, VIP, and bronze. That's like not probably the order I'd like to see it in. So maybe we want to put VIP at the top, and then gold, and then silver, and then bronze. You can now save that here. And then you have the right order depending on how you want to order that dropdown. All right. Well, that's it for all of the main new updates. Of course, there's a lot of other things going on under the hood to improve performance and fix bugs, but those are the main new updates. So at this point, I'm going to pause and open the Q&A, and I'll answer some questions. Okay, first question is from Amy. Can the time tracking budget be set for limited visibility, i.e. so the entire team will not be able to see it? Time tracking, so the time capacity planning works similarly to the rest of your time tracking reporting, which is to say only admins can see this tab here. So admins can see this, no other standard users can see that. Samantha asked, is capacity planning meant only for time to be spent with Keeper specifically, spent in Keeper specifically, or is there a way to sync all activities via QuickBooks Time? The goal is that it gives you a comprehensive dashboard of all of your time, and we do know that a lot of firms use Keeper to track all of their time, whether it is related to bookkeeping or not. So that said, there is no direct integration to QuickBooks Time at this time. Definitely something we could look into so that we can make this a more useful feature for firms who track their time elsewhere. Kate asks, is there a way to mark a time entry as reviewed or processed? There is not, but that is definitely something that we're working on adding, is sort of better metadata around your timers, so you can have them as reviewed or processed or locked so that they can't be edited. Samantha asked, our emails are constantly being quarantined from GoDaddy. I actually have a SOP in the works on this. So I'll send you a follow-up directly with a link that sort of explains more on how to fix this. It's a little technical. There's some stuff you have to whitelist, and one of the recommended SOP steps is you actually have to reach out to their support to get them to unflag some settings. So if you're also having this issue with emails being quarantined by GoDaddy, shoot me an email, ben.stein@keeper.app, and I will I'll send you that guide as well. Nancy asked, do we have the ability to sort by tag? This probably made more sense when it was asked. I don't know if that means by work stream here, or maybe on the on the client list. So Nancy, if you could follow up here, I'd be happy to give a better answer.
Ben, there's a follow-up to that sort by tag in the bulk email.
Oh, yeah, I believe you should be able to. Yeah, you can sort by tag. So you just click the column header. Thank you, Trina. Renee asked, will canceled also remove a task from the daily digest of tasks to be done? The answer is yes. So canceled is sort of functionally equivalent to done, but it preserves this concept that it's like another type of done status. So it preserves this concept that you didn't actually complete it, but it will pull it off of your to-do list. Jamie asked, for time tracking, are we able to track paid and unpaid time off? I suppose you could enter these in as manually tracked timers and put them in a firm work stream. So you can customize your own firm work streams here in your time tracking settings. And so we've got PTO here as a default firm work stream. And then we might also add unpaid time off. And so you can add those in here as different firm work streams, since they're obviously not tied to a client. And then you can add in a custom timer essentially for the duration to make sure that you have that time tracked. Okay, Greg asked, has the handling of apartment unit numbers in the 1099 vendor section been fixed? It used to duplicate if there was any edit on that information. I will have to check with our engineering team on that one, Greg, and I will get back to you. Yausi asked, when is the app going to be ready? And when will we be able to see other options in receipts like invoices? Both of those should be coming soon. Invoices in receipts should be coming sooner, but both of them are in the works. In case you want to get notified, by the way, I will use this as an opportunity to plug Canny. If you pop here into our feature requests and then add your vote to the client portal mobile app, we'll send you an email as soon as that feature goes live. Okay, Katie asked, does legal name correspond to company name in QBO, and will it update the company name field? I believe I answered this, but maybe just to make this a little bit more unambiguous, we'll go ahead and sign into QuickBooks so people can see see what that actually updated. So if we go back to demo co, we can see we updated BB&B, and I'll show you where that updated. So here you can see it updates this field right here, and then the vendor display name is kept here. Gloria asked, can the legal name and the DBA be on the 1099? I don't believe so, although I guess you can put like the legal name in the company name field. So you can do like John Smith, parentheses, DBA, BB&B, LLC, and that would also work. Kate asked, with templates being available in this dropdown, can standard users select and apply them yet, or still only admins? It is still only admins at this time. Okay. Amber asked, any updates on when a calendar view will be available? I don't have an update on that at this time, although I will once again plug the candy here. We do provide updates here. So if you just search for the calendar view and add your vote there, we will let you know as soon as that goes live. Heather asked about the status of archiving clients. And I have hopefully good news. I think that should be live in the next month, if not definitely in the next two. But we are putting the finishing touches on the feature. So we're sending it through a very robust QC process, but should be live very, very soon. Okay, and Taylor asked, is it possible to get the client list to light up green regardless of the non-closing tasks, whether the non-closing tasks are completed? I know this is something that we've discussed internally as an engineering team, and we're thinking about breaking out as a setting. So let me, we'll get back to you on that one, Taylor. It's not currently possible to do that, is the short answer. And then Yausi asked, will we be able to add docs or pictures directly into the subtasks on tasks? Not yet, although that is something that we're working on adding as well. All right. Okay, I saw one other chat come in. Will we be able to get a copy of this recording? The answer is yes. And in fact, you can find these recordings and so much more on our YouTube channel, which let me see if I can get that. Shayna, if you have that handy. Otherwise, I will have to grab the link.
Yeah, I can post it 1 sec.
Okay, I think that's that. Cool. Okay. This is the link to our YouTube channel. You can find all of the recordings here for this and all prior Catch Up with Keeper webinars. We're also now recording a weekly sort of getting started guide on how different features in Keeper work. So you can find those at the at our YouTube channel there as well. All right. Well, that looks like all of the Q&A that we have. So we'll give folks maybe another minute or so to come up with any last minute questions in case you were holding out on us. All right. Well, that appears to be it. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up this month's Catch Up with Keeper webinar series. So thank you all so much for taking the time. Really appreciate it. We have a bunch of new exciting features in the works over the course of the next couple of months. So get excited for the next few Catch Up with Keeper webinars. Thank you all once again so much for taking the time. Hope you have a great and productive rest of your May and an easy start to the May month end closes.